So Donald Trump's airplane had to do an emergency landing. Well, diverted anyway. Emergency landing was the title that all the news was covering. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode here of BizJet TV. Please, let me just underline here. This is not a political video. So please don't start making political comments below. This is a technical aviation analysis of what happened. I'll give you my take, being an airline captain myself. And we're going to talk about diversions. We're going to talk about this subject here. And we're going to take inspiration from the fact that Donald Trump's pilots decided to divert the 757. Now, why did this happen? So please, no political comments. So let's talk about what happened. So they were en route to go to one of these rallies. And the Boeing 757, which is an airliner, which has been turned into a private jet. So basically they rip the interior out. They add extra fuel tanks to give it more range. And they build almost like a flying apartment inside the aeroplane. We've covered a number of these airplanes. They call it Boeing business jet. You can get a 737 as a Boeing business jet, a 757, a 777, 767, 787. There's different types of Boeing business jets. And Donald Trump has chosen the Boeing 757. So why would an airplane land at another airport that's not the destination? Now, in an airliner, this is a 737 QRH, which is a quick reference handbook. This is the airplane that I fly. So this is a checklist, okay, as you can see, it's quite thick, that the pilots have on board. When something goes wrong, okay, and the lights come up on the overhead panel in front, whatever, and there's an emergency of some sort, the pilots get the quick reference handbook out, and the quick reference handbook will tell you what to do. So, and there's all sorts of things here, like, for example, cargo fire. Okay, and it tells the pilots what to do. Now, the pilots have split roles. You have the pilot flying and the pilot monitoring. The pilot flying is doing the actual flying. The pilot monitoring will be doing the radios and handling the checklist. So when an emergency happens, most airline operations or private jet operations, the pilot monitoring, who's doing the radio, will grab on command of the pilot that's flying, will call for the appropriate checklist. They will decide together what the problem is, and then they'll call for the checklist. Now, in some of these checklists, in particular, if we're talking about dual engine failure or severe damage, APU fire, engine fire or smoke, these are the items that require you to land at the nearest suitable airport. Now, looking at the footage, it doesn't look to me that this was the problem in this case. So the pilots may have had other reasons to divert, other technical reasons to divert. It could simply be that we'll go to this airport because we know that they've got engineers there that can fix this particular problem that we have. So we're going to be diverting, and we'll arrange another airplane for you to pick you up. So that is another thing that could have happened. But when pilots do decide to divert, and this is, tribute to Donald Trump in the sense that he let his pilots make the decision. He didn't push them to go to the destination. He lets his pilots make the decision on board. So basically, when he gets on his airplane, the captain is in charge. And that really, really is an important point, because there have been so many accidents happen in private aviation where when the boss gets on board, because the boss is paying all the bills, sometimes these entrepreneur guys that own the airplanes try and override the pilot's decision. And the pilot lets the boss override them, even though the pilot's not comfortable, and then there ends up being a crash. I've told the story many times of my buddy Eric Swaffer, who was the pilot of the helicopter that crashed at Leicester City Football Club a few years ago. He was not happy with landing and taking off out of the stadium. He told his boss a number of times. The boss just said to him, look, if you don't want to do it, you can leave and we'll hire somebody else. So he just continued until one day they had a failure, and the rest is history. The helicopter ended up crashing, killing everybody on board. And this has happened in airplanes as well. So when you do step on your plane, the pilot's in charge. In this case, the captain decided that they needed to divert, so they diverted. We'll find out in the next few days we may find out in the next few days what the actual problem was with the airplane. Now, the 757 is a very reliable airplane. It seems like it was not a major mechanical issue, so Donald Trump stated a bit later after they'd landed. So I think probably what happened is they had some issue which wasn't a major issue, but they landed at that particular airport because there's some form of maintenance support or spare part, whatever that's there, that could service the airplane. I think that's what happened. That's my take on this. But anyway, let's get the conversation going on the technical issues of diversions. Have you ever diverted on your private jet? What's happened, or how did you explain it to the boss? Or are you looking to buy an aeroplane? And as I always say, the pilots are more important than the plane. So if you are looking to buy an aeroplane, that's a great thing. Let's have a conversation. You can reach out to me and I will help you also find the right pilots for your operation. And as I tell everybody, the pilots are more important than the aeroplane. You need to choose the right pilots and they'll keep you safe. So if you haven't got yourself a copy of The Quantum Economy, my latest book, you can click on the link below and get a copy. If you want to reach out to me and do a one-to-one call, you can reach out to me and we'll have a conversation. And then please check out this other video we did on, it's part 1 of pilot fatigue. And yes, part 2 is in the making, by the way. We've just been caught up with a few other business things here that we're doing. Very busy here at BizJet TV, and I'm busy on a couple of other ventures as well. So, but you know, the video of fatigue part 2 is in the making. So have a look at this other video on pilot fatigue. It's a really, really important issue. If you're looking to buy a private jet, you need to know about this. So have a look at this one. That's all from Fabrizio here on BizJet TV, and I'll see you on the next one.